Hey, good morning, everyone. You know, it's Sunday morning, the night after NXT TakeOver Chicago. And what a night it was, buddy. What a night it was. What do you think, Mike?
It was amazing. It was a great night, yeah.
It was amazing. If our voice looked different, it's because we screaming so much last night. You know, it was defending. It was, the excitement here was as big as it was, you know, in Chicago. That was amazing show. You know, probably, to me, the best WWE event of the year. Featuring probably the match of the year with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. And the second match of the year with DIY and the Authors of Pain.
Definitely, yeah.
What a match, what an event, what a crowd, you know. It was incredible, you know. There's no way in hell Backlash can compete with that. And they shouldn't even try, you know. Just do what you got to do. And it's not the same crowd. It's people that love NXT. We've said it before, are wrestling fans. People who love the WWE. They're still the same wrestling fans, but their families, their kids, you know, they're entertainment fans. So it's totally different. We saw it, like we said earlier on another podcast, you know, in Toronto when we were there. We were at NXT TakeOver Toronto, and then we were at Survivor Series. And it's totally different, you know, in waiting line outside, you know, NXT TakeOver.
Exactly.
Was only adults like us, you know.
That's right.
And the next night, you know, was kids, you know, families.
Yeah.
So, and people in front of us didn't even know Roman Reigns was,
exactly.
You know, and they were kept asking us, why are they booing him? You know, he's great. And I said, you know what? 90% of people booing him, they're booing him because somebody else is booing them. So all it takes is a few assholes starts chant, and then the rest of people are sheep. You know, like Bray Wyatt says. You know, you start hearing it sucks, and then everybody chants it sucks. You know, instead of sometimes, you know, you sit in a hardcore crowd, you know, when a chant gets killed right off the bat, like yesterday at the UK, not yesterday, Saturday, when they started chanting TNA.
Yeah.
And then it said delete, like fuck up, shut up, you know.
Yeah.
And but most of the time, you know, all it takes is one or two guys, and the first thing you know, it's a full blown chant.
Of course, exactly.
So, but yesterday NXT TakeOver, the crowd first of all was absolutely amazing. I love Chicago, and the Chicago crowd is a rowdy one. And it was the hardcore Chicago fans, and one can expect great things from Chicago, and the crowd itself was a 5-star.
That's what's great about NXT. I mean, when they travel to other cities, they have great crowds, and it's really amazing, yeah.
Because they bring out the best in the crowd, because it's all centered around the emotion of the matches. You know, it's all around the short vignettes, and good reason they're there to fight for a title.
Exactly.
And they made yesterday the UK title seem more important than the WWE title and the Universal title.
Yeah.
Because the guys were willing to die in the fucking ring.
Yeah.
The same thing with DIY. You know, they look so devastated after losing the match, you know.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like, you know, a family member died,
and
you
then,
know.
And then for DIY, after the match,
holy shit. Cover that later.
It was unbelievable.
It was heartbreaking. That's why the podcast is called Heartbreak and Kick-Ass Show.
Definitely.
It started off pretty well, you know, with Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to think about Roderick Strong at first, because there's so many good wrestlers now. Oh, yeah. There's millions of them. You see them, you know, it's not out of the norm to see, you know, look at Apollo Crews and guys like that. They come out without a lot of charisma, and they're great athletes. You can't take that away from them. You know, they're absolutely great athletes. Yeah. But they need more character development, and they did it with a short vignette. And still, you know, it was more emotional yesterday. The crowd was more into him. Yeah. And we never doubted his talent as a wrestler. No way.
Well, no. He used to wrestle for Ring of Honor.
But
of course.
Yesterday he was very impressive.
Yes.
Very impressive. So was
Eric Young.
So was Eric Young. We know what to expect. The guy is amazing. You know, he can fly. Yeah. He's a very underrated performer, and the sanity gimmick, like we said before, is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It fits it to a T. You know, he's a great Bray Wyatt kind of leadership, you know, with he talks a little bit less than Bray, which at times, you know, I think could benefit Bray from overexposure.
Yeah.
And when you talk so much and you lose so much, you know, it kind of loses its meaning.
Of course, yeah.
Because, you know, he's just barking, but he never bites, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's and I think that they're avoiding that with sanity.
Yeah.
They kind of are silent strikers, and when they talk, it's short vignettes. WWE can learn so much, from NXT, and actually NXT is produced by WWE, which is a totally different ball game. But if it's because that's the vision of Triple H,
right,
it makes you just wish, pray to God that Vince leaves Triple H in charge and runs SmackDown in the WWE as soon as possible, because Vince, we can listen to Bruce Richard podcast every day now. It's incredible because you get behind the scenes and you can see how much out of touch Vince is.
Oh, yeah.
And what worked in the 70s, he still thinks it can work today. He's so out of touch that it's not even funny anymore.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So Vince, the best thing you could do is to leave it in charge to somebody who's more in touch of what's going on right now in Triple H, with guys like Road Dogg, and you could bring in like newer guys, younger guys, maybe bring a Paul Heyman on the booking committee, bring younger athletes, guys who recently retired, or guys like the two kids, Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble,
yeah,
seem to be wrestling man like Paul London,
yeah,
and not Paul London, but I mean Billy Kidman, who's backstage.
Yeah.
Paul London, he's never going to be back in WWE. Poor guy. He smiled when Vince was about to die. That was an angle back in the days. Back in the day, people died and came back the week after. Yeah, right?
That's right.
But that's in the 90s, Attitude Era, for those who never watched it. Great wrestling. You had probably 2 minutes of wrestling for 58 minutes of,
It was a show, of course.
It was a show. It was a show. And people look back at the Attitude Era side, miss it. When you look at it now, you say, what the fuck am I missing? It was so absolutely awful.
I know.
The wrestling was absolutely awful. When you talk that a guy like The Rock was one of the best workers, it just shows you that there was nothing in terms of wrestling. The wrestling was absolutely awful.
But it wasn't about the wrestling. It was about the entertainment.
Exactly. So, and I'm a wrestling fan. I love the entertainment. Back then, I loved it. I love the X, but when the X came out, they started to have more good wrestlers coming in, like Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, and Christian. So the wrestling picked up after that. Then you had Brock Lesnar and all those guys.
Right.
So, but I mean, during 96 to 99, that was a sucky shit part of an era.
Well, yeah, because you had The Rock and Stone Cold on top.
That little faggot, Shawn Michaels, used to be on top. I hate this fucking asshole so much. That could be another podcast because I know him personally. He's a piece of shit. So, yeah.
Used to be.
He still is, everybody, I turn around, then I found whatever. It's full of shit. It's so easy to say. It's like, okay, please forgive me. I did things now I learned from them. Then you can go like, oh yeah, I found this, I found that. Whatever you found, just Shawn Michaels, you're still fucking piece of shit, like Randy Orton. And that's okay, he was a great wrestler. I'm not taking anything away from him. He was a great wrestler.
Best of all time.
Great at selling, but he was a piece of shit. So yesterday, Roderick Strong beating Eric Young. Good match. Good match.
Great opening match, yeah.
And that big guy Dane is fucking awesome.
Oh man, he's almost as big as Braun Strowman.
Oh, he's awesome. I love the guy. So that was a very good match. The second match, holy fucking shit.
Match of the night.
The match of the year.
Well, could be, yeah.
Could be the match of the decade, man. It was awesome.
It could be. Who knows? Yeah.
What do you think of Pete Dunne?
He's amazing.
And how would you just describe the kid?
I don't know. He's like a pit bull. I mean, he's really amazing. Yeah.
This guy is creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy pit bull.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Kind of guy you don't want to meet in hallway, at 3 p.m.
No,
He's got that look, that menacing look that you don't see a lot these days.
Yeah.
Pure heel, great wrestler, and what a match. And Tyler Bate, holy shit.
Only 20 years old.
What we saw from the tournament, he was okay, but now what we saw yesterday and Saturday against Mark Andrews, he just is the shit.
But his age, he's only 20 years old.
Holy motherfucking God.
What a future he has. And
the kid,
God.
Sky's the limit for the kid.
5 years from now, he'll be world champ.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Main roster world champ.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. Then he'll be wrestling 5-minute matches against Randy Orton. Oh, that's another story.
No, he won't be there. No, 5 years from now, he won't be there anymore.
Are you serious? Randy won't be there? Oh, my God.
No.
Okay, can we jump start 5 years from now?
And it's going to be probably Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
39.
Oh, yeah, and then in WrestleMania 40, they'll have Randy Orton come back, 58 years old.
Oh, boy.
To challenge Tyler Bate.
Oh, boy.
The Viper against Tyler Bate.
Oh, my God.
Randy Orton, a 78-time world champion.
Wow.
78-time world champion.
Amazing.
He had one good match Well, I don't remember it, but yeah, he did. What, right?
Well, yeah. Huh?
He had one good match in his career. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It was against Batista. It was a 2-minute squash.
Unbelievable.
Where they both laid outside the ring, and then he did an RKO out of nowhere.
Oh.
Because he's master of the RKO, right? Because when you think of Randy Orton, there's so many things you can think about. You can think of the RKO, the RKO, the RKO, the RKO, and the RKO. Damn, there's so many stuff about him. This guy, he's such a...
The RKO out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, there you go.
From anywhere.
That's incredible. There's so many things. He does the RKO, then he does the RKO. Oh, he's amazing. Randy Orton fans out there, shout out to him. Wonderful athlete, wonderful guy. He's got so great facial expression, and every match is different. He never does the DDT from the second rope ever. He doesn't. Oh, fuck. Okay, I was just kidding, by the way. Yep, the third match. The third match was the women's match. And for once, I felt very sad and almost pitied the girls to have to follow Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
Well, yeah,
because it was impossible to follow. But I think they did quite a good job.
It was a good match, yeah.
NASCAR winning, now is who's next, there's nobody actually in NXT right now who's in our league.
Nobody.
So what I would do is what I said yesterday. I would vacate the title and move on to the main roster and have... younger kids picking up the piece. What do you think, Nicholas?
Well, yeah, but that's why they're going to have now this summer the tournament for the new women's tournament they're going to have on the WWE Network.
Exactly.
They're trying to find new women to wrestle, so we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, Nicholas, if you want to be part of the podcast, you're welcome. So it was a good match. Yeah. And Asuka winning, not a surprise there.
Well, no.
And then the fourth match was actually Bobby Roode against Hideo Itami.
I was shocked that wasn't the main event.
I was too, but it was great.
It was great.
It was great. It was a great match. I really loved the fact that both guys sold pretty well.
Yeah.
Something that they don't do a lot these days. And Bobby Roode came out looking like a dominant champion. Itami looked like a resilient guy. It's probably a story of him overcoming a lot of obstacles. And at one point might win the NXT title, but it's not for now.
No.
But a lot of people jumping to the conclusion that he's done and everything. No. It's just a story of redemption. He came out, many injuries. It's just a start of a long-term story that they can do in NXT that they don't do on the main roster because people have no patience these days.
That's right.
So it's easy to blame it on the creative team, but we have to put ourselves sometimes in the line of fire because we're the ones that always demand everything now.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes you got to be patient. Like in my podcast with Roode, like he told me, it's a marathon. It's not a fucking sprint.
Of course.
Well, he didn't say fucking because it was not rated R, but he said it's not a marathon. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Marathon. It's not a sprint. People are so impatient nowadays.
Exactly.
Life is so fast now, and people don't take time to breathe.
That we want everything now.
My God.
Like Bray Wyatt, world champion now. Now he loses. I totally disagree with Bray losing at Mania
when he won the belt. But he didn't keep it very long.
Exactly. What made me sad was the fact that he beat Cena twice in 2 nights, and AJ clean. Then he lost against Orton a month and a half later. That's what made me angry.
Yeah.
But
of course,
we have to remember that they know what they're doing. They're the ones running the show,
Well, yeah, we're just talking about it, but they're running the show, well, of course.
So we're just here to give our opinion. And what do you think, Nicholas, of Tyler Bate against Pete Dunne last night? Did you like it? Yeah, that's it was amazing. Actually, it was screaming more than us.
It was unbelievable. Yeah.
It was incredible. It was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
It's fun to see new guys that we don't see very often wrestle. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, it is. Because they're not overexposed. That's why I hope that the UK show won't be a weekly thing, even though I would love it.
I don't think it will be because they don't travel there very often.
I think it's going to be like 4 or 5 times a year, like NXT TakeOver.
Probably.
And then we can see them from time to time on NXT.
Exactly.
So here we go. And then the main event. Oh my God. So deserving. I said last night, Johnny Gargano in the main event. I was so happy for him.
I couldn't believe it.
And DIY against the Others of Pain. And now everybody's praising Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I'm the biggest fan of these 2 guys.
Oh, yeah?
But for once, please, we got to admit that the Others of Pain are fucking good.
Well, yeah, of course.
These guys are a year in the business, and they're already putting on those 5-star matches. Everybody says, oh, yeah, they were carried on by Revival or DIY. Yeah, but it takes two to tango, or four in this case to tango.
Yeah.
They had a great match, and they're big, but they can do it all. They sell pretty well also.
Of course, they're very good.
And especially Akam. Akam is used to. I think it's Sunny. Man, I think Rizar used to be in the UFC.
I don't know.
And Akam was an amateur wrestler, but both guys are absolute beast.
Yeah.
I'd love to see one of them face Brock Lesnar.
Well, yeah, of course.
And these two kids, sky's the future. They're big, they're strong, they have a look, they have everything, they are absolutely amazing, and, not enough credit goes to them. So my shout out today goes to the AOP, the Authors of Pain, because they were not alone in the ring yesterday in terms of DIY. They were in the ring with two kids that worked their ass off.
Yeah, and they were very good in the ladder match.
And what a match in that spot, where Ciampa was pushed out of the way of the ladder by Gargano, and Gargano took it in the face. It almost looked like it was decapitated.
Yeah.
That was stiff. And when they both overjumped a little bit and they had to flip, not to break their necks, that was absolutely unbelievable. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was scary looking, because at first I thought that Ciampa fell at first on the floor.
That's right.
So that was scary.
It was amazing.
Did you think that Ciampa was injured?
No.
When you saw it yesterday, no? Because you saw him flip?
Yeah.
But he could have broken his neck. He could have broken his neck.
I thought he did, yeah.
And then the end, they're in the ring. The people are chanting, so behind them.
Yeah.
And then that turn.
Oh, man, I couldn't believe it.
To me, I don't know, Mike, about you, but to me, that's the best heel turn since Shawn Michaels with Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
That's the best heel turn out of nowhere. Let's say Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, we saw it coming from miles away.
Oh, yeah.
And, kudos to WWE, because usually everything is spoiled. But that was not spoiled. That was a total shocker. Yeah. I am the one that said yesterday on my podcast that it would happen. I hadn't read it anywhere. It was just my gut opinion. And was I right?
That's right.
I was fucking right, as I always am.
Yes, sir.
Well, not always, because otherwise I'd be a billionaire. But yeah, close to always being right. Right? Nicholas, what do you think?
Yeah,
you were right.
It was good.
I was right, yeah.
It was an amazing heel turn out of nowhere. Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I called it first.
Yeah.
I did. For those of you who don't believe me, go back and check my podcast yesterday called Bring It On, NXT TakeOver Chicago preview, rated R.
So now it's going to be a great feud between Ciampa and Gargano. It's going to be great.
Well, it'll be great. And you know what? I love the Psycho Killer is back now.
Yeah.
And Johnny Wrestling, because Johnny Wrestling is such a sympathetic character, such a great guy. You can't hate the guy. Even if he made a heel turn, people would be still cheering him. But Ciampa, he's got that look.
I'm glad it's Ciampa that's going to be the heel.
Yeah, and by the way, they're still friends in real life, so people don't go crazy.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, they live together with their wives. The same house in Orlando. Well, so it's on a podcast, where you can see them explaining what they did, when they moved out of, I think, Minnesota to train every day at the Performance Center. And you know what happens when you train 7 days a week? You know what happens when you train 7 days a week, 365 days a year? You know what happens?
I don't know.
Well, you become good as DIY.
That's right.
That's what happens. And when you're Randy Orton and you do nothing and you sit on your fucking ass all day and you do nothing, you know what happens? Well, you fucking suck.
Oh.
That's what happens.
That's right.
Well, maybe he doesn't do nothing all day because he's still, pretty good shape. But I mean, I just hate him, so I wanted to put it there. So Randy, there's nothing personal against Randy, by the way. It's just the character that I don't like. I think Randy Orton, personal life, was an asshole.